Here we go, spawning in the bottom left of the map, Everdream. He is the one and only caster from Alpha X Latin America. He is ROMSLY. And spawning in the top right, in the blue, we have our friend Erebus. I've seen ROMSLY play a couple of times on his stream. I know he's actually pretty good. Haven't seen much of his PvT though. Just been able to lurk here and there. But let's see how these players approach the game. There we have the little clash of the workers. Just both players doing their scouting at very, very standard times. Both of them with a very standard opener at this point. ROMSLY being a little bit annoying with that worker, but actually Erebus is going to be able to complete that barrack no problem. Erebus following this workers because he knows that this worker is not going home immediately, which means he could probably look for an opportunity to drop a proxy pylon, maybe proxy a Stargate. So he definitely has to keep tabs on this worker. Whether he likes it or not. Maybe it's just a decoy from ROMSLY. It's probably it, considering the circumstances. I don't think he's gonna pull back and try to build something. Or is he? Oh, he's gonna do the rounds again. He might drop something still. This is still a possibility. But we'll see. In the meantime, Erebus completing his scouting, just looking at everything the Protoss is doing. So far, it looks fairly standard. But if he doesn't catch a proxy pylon, this could give him a little bit of trouble. But I think that the only thing ROMSLY is doing right now is just going for a second scout, just to confirm the composition that Erebus is going for. So now he encounters that bunker, actually attacks it. Oh no, little worker! Woo. All probe was lost. ROMSLY actually getting a Twilight Council now. So we might see some Blink Stalkers, maybe Resonating Glaives for Adepts. Erebus actually going for the 3 racks. I do love this by Erebus. I think 3 racks is something that is much needed in life, like for Terran. Just in general, for no particular reason. And there we go, he's gonna go for the double tech lab there to start his Marauder production, probably aiming for some timing attack pretty soon. Here comes the scouting adept for ROMSLY. Remember, this adept is just to kind of get a feel for things. Ooh, but he might be able to, he might lose it there if he's not careful. Oh, this adept is so low. So low. A little bit dangerous there. Oh, and actually ROMSLY shades in, but stops the shade and loses that adept. That's a little bit unfortunate for him. Okay, so we're actually going to be seeing Resonating Glaives. He's already getting all those extra gateways to add on to the adept production. And remember, adepts are so versatile and so mobile because of their shading ability. And he's probably going to also try to get a warp prism, which would definitely help to harass multiple locations, maybe try to warp in extra adepts here in the back of the base. But actually Erebus is being very cautious and adding a supply depot to that edge so that he can keep tabs on that little ledge there that sometimes is obscured by how just big the bases are in this map. ROMSLY moving off with the Observer, also has to keep tabs on the enemy tech. And so far, Erebus deciding not to push, but he's already about to complete both Combat Shield and Stim, which is definitely going to give him quite a bit of an edge here. We do have Resonating Glaives for the Adepts, but let's see how effective this aggression from ROMSLY will be. There goes the Shade. The Observer just made its way here. There's no guarantee that that the Terran will be able to spot it, though. Here we go, the Adepts now arriving to the third base location. And we do have now a War Prism, but he's actually loading it up with a Dark Templar, which definitely could be devastating for Erebus' economy. He doesn't have detection, at least not static detection, for his base. He is dropping, however, this turret over here, which I actually like, but there's nothing in the main base. So this could be a little bit tricky, but actually Erebus is getting a Raven. Oh my god, ROMSLY has to drop this right now. Okay, there he goes, hacking away with those supply depots, just leaving them barely alive so they can continue to wither away, while he just works on other structures for the time being. Now Erebus repositioning and actually catching that Dark Templar off guard, and now that that Erebus has mobile detection, this is going to be way easier to deal with. But ROMSLY is trying to abuse that mobility with the Shades. Just Erebus reacting so well. He is a little bit supply blocked, however, so he's going to have to replenish those supply depots. But up to this point, this has been extremely well handled by Erebus. He's going to lose this turret to those Adepts, but just the fact that he's not losing workers right now is actually pretty good. There we go, the Protoss trying to mobilize once again. He actually stops at the top of the ramp, but Erebus decides to divide his army into two. He has enough units to deal with that. It's absolutely fine, but this is going to force a shade out. Well, kind of a recall from ROMSLY, who just goes back to his base. He knows he can't do more damage with this at this point, so he decides to retreat, call it a day, but he's still harassing with that War Prism. Erebus hasn't been able to clean that up yet. He has lost a little bit of workers, that's like of the worker count. It's still in favor of Erebus. So despite the fact that ROMSLY tried to do economic damage, there's still a clear advantage of 7 workers of 13 workers. Oh no. I was definitely reading the wrong numbers. So yeah, ROMSLY did a decent amount of damage in terms of economy, but definitely the army supply is in favor of Erebus. I think this is the point where Erebus has to kind of look for a way to do economic damage to his opponent. He has suffered quite a bit. Oh no! I think that was, yeah, I was blocking some workers in. Okay, this was totally deliberate. I panicked. I'm sorry. And here we go. ROMSLY still has 4 DTs outside, but look at this positioning from Erebus, just getting his Widow Mines there. You'll probably be able to snipe this, because maybe ROMSLY is not... I don't think he would be suspicious. Unless he would have seen it. But let's see if this War Prism gets caught there. Oh, it's gonna get caught! Oh man, 4 DTs and a War Prism just go down. This shade is completely unsuccessful. And it's now, I think Erebus has right now a decent window of opportunity to just go and maybe push this army, but I think he's gonna be even more cautious now. That he knows that ROMSLY has been doing damage for a long time. Oh, but ROMSLY is giving away some of his Adepts here. He has to be very, very careful. The Protoss has been a little bit careless with his unit control. So yeah, that has definitely taxed them a little bit. Now the Protoss going for that 4th expansion. So the economy of ROMSLY seems very, very healthy, but I'm worried of the types of engagements that he's taken. He's throwing away a lot of units. I think considering the situation, it's okay that Erebus is cautious. Especially because he knows he has the better army control. Ooh, and actually ROMSLY is canceling that 4th Nexus. I wonder what he was thinking. Maybe he thought there was a counterattack coming and that he needed the extra minerals. But I don't think that was worth it. But anyway, we'll see. Here comes the push from Erebus making its way to the 3rd base location. ROMSLY is responding in kind, moving his units. But let's see if he's able to stop the Terran army. Right now, Erebus taking this opportunity actually to expand to the 3rd base location. Solstice, welcome to the stream. And actually, Erebus using that energy to take a scan. Oh, but now we have a couple of Colossus here, and there's a lot of Adepts and Colossus here. There's going to be a lot of DPS and AoE. So Erebus is going to definitely have to be very, very careful. He uses the anti-armor missile and obliterates those... oh, and he actually used the interference matrix against the Colossus. So he leaves this Protoss army extremely bare, extremely exposed, without its AoE capabilities. And yeah, those Adepts don't do much damage against this amount of bio. This is going to force ROMSLY to pull all of his workers, and Erebus just stutter stepping, taking as many hits as he can at those workers, and still a lot of the bio is pretty much alive there. That auto turret is definitely going to help with the firepower against these Adepts, and now is ROMSLY, who's in a little bit of a pickle here, because Erebus is significantly ahead, not just in army supply, but in workers at this point. So nicely done there by the Terran, who definitely is managing to turn the tide in this game. Oh, and look at the reinforcements, the amount of Marauders here. Those are definitely going to pack a punch against this attempt of a counterattack. Remember that a lot of these Adepts are really, really bruised. So I don't know how much will ROMSLY actually be able to do with this counter. And actually, Erebus just sims forward, and the concussive shells slowing down most of those Adepts there. He's going to catch quite a few kills. But yeah, it's not appropriate, man, to shade right now. We gotta shade out of there. I mean, he could probably take these 3 workers, but I don't think it's worth it if he loses those Adepts. There we go, Erebus. Knowing and feeling pretty confident that he's done really well in this game, and just moving around in the map, trying to catch the Protoss army. He knows it's nearby. And there we go, he stems forward once again, trying to catch these units, and there is not much production on the Protoss base. There's a lot of, actually there's a lot of warp gates here, but he's just not making more units. He's working on a couple of Colossus now, but if those Colossus get shut down by those Marauders, this is not going to do anything. And now ROMSLY actually warping in some High Templar there. He might get some Archons or just wait for Storm to finish, but Storm is, oh my god, it's just so far away from being done. And here we go, Erebus sending that Marauder forward, just checking, make sure there are no units available for the Protoss. And you're gonna start hacking at this base. Let's see if those Colossus are able to zone out this bio army, and I think he might be able to do it, especially because he's not alone. He does have those High Templar, but oh, he probably doesn't know yet that Storm is not completed. Ooh, there, nice target fire by ROMSLY, but actually this medevac making its way to the natural base location. I mean, he did drop the stuff, so he might be able to do to get a little bit of extra kills there with the workers. Nice around there by ROMSLY cleaning this up. But I'm just so worried right now that this third base, it's not even nearly saturated. It's not even, you know, it doesn't even have anything there. And Erebus just looking with an economy that is so healthy at this point, and now we see a significant difference for the Terran. This is definitely going to give Erebus an edge. He was definitely very smart at being extremely patient. Now that the Protoss has Storm, there could be a possibility for better engagements. But let's see if Erebus is going to try to police. But ooh, and he's actually going to drop those EMPs all over the High Templar. So nicely done there by the Terran, just sniping those HTs almost completely. There come a couple of reinforcements as well, but one of them is actually going to be morphed into an Archon, and now those Colossus are so exposed to the Marauder firepower, and ROMSLY is going to definitely have to take a step back for now, try to regroup, find his way, find his footing again. And I don't know, I just want to see a 4th base from either of those players, but they've both kept the pressure on for so long at this point. But we'll see. I think Erebus has more than enough income, and also just a bank in general to get those expansions. He's actually going to go for a double expand, which I think is really bold, but I think he feels confident at this point that he can pull this off. Since ROMSLY has definitely relieved the pressure there, he's just moving forward with some observers just to keep tabs of his opponent, but he doesn't have that much in the army department. There's 62 to 31 in favor of the Terran. So this is not looking good for the Protoss player, who at some point had a very clear advantage, but after those engagements Yeah, definitely not in the greatest position at this point. Oh, there we go. Erebus destroying those rocks. He wants the extra space there. Oh, and this disruptor drop. Let's see how successful this can be. This can be devastating against a Terran player, especially if they're unaware. But Erebus definitely aware that this is going on. So keeping his distance from that purification nova. I just love how patient Erebus is being right now. And he's actually going to go for a drop, which I think is the right call, considering the way that these pylons are so like well lined up. There's no static defense. There are no batteries here. There are no cannons either. There are no stalkers. So this is a very exposed location. ROMSLY, in the meantime, moving out into the map. Oh, but this is going to be so unattended. And actually, Erebus is going to drop that scan. Probably dropped it closer to his base, just to check if there were any observers out. This space is a little bit exposed though for the Terran, so he's going to have to lift that up. But in the meantime, there is a counter on the base, and he's actually going to get those upgrades, gets both of the forges, which is going to stall the upgrade capabilities of the Protoss. This forces ROMSLY to warp in some defensive zealots there, but these units are going to kite for days against the poor little zealots. Look at how fast they fall. Oh, but the purification nova gets most of the bio there. So there was a nice reaction from ROMSLY, but he did lose a lot of units in that engagement. So nicely played there for the Terran. Oh, there we go. Come on, ROMSLY, get the snipe. Oh, man. And that medevac will actually live another day. Oh, but still, the army supply is so much in favor of the Terran. And ROMSLY's starting to lose steam right now. He's now getting that fourth base up and running, slowly saturating that. It's almost at a nice position, but look at this. Look at this planetary. Just getting that nice little influx of workers. ROMSLY making his way to this location, trying to probably shut down that base, maybe get some worker kills, which will definitely come in handy. At this point, snipes that medevac, and there's the scan from Erebus. Now he knows what is going on in his base. He's actually going to target that prism, which is definitely the right call, since prisms are so useful to get those reinforcements as fast as possible into the map. But just ROMSLY not being able to engage here, and Erebus being so cautious, dividing his units properly to not get too much of the AoE damage on top. So really nicely done by the Terran here. Again, Erebus trying to rebuild these structures, getting also a turret there, just, you know, just in case any cloak units decide to run by. You know how that goes. And Erebus is actually going to take a fifth base right now. The Terran feeling so confident, so strong, but ROMSLY is also doing the same. I think it would be really nice if Erebus just tried to pressure that main base. It's just so exposed, so open. If he gets some additional pylons down, that would be great. ROMSLY is so close to being supply capped at this point that would be devastating against the Protoss. But now ROMSLY is going to make his way to the fifth base location. Let's see if he manages to do something. But I like this run by at the bottom that Erebus is trying to pull off. I think that would definitely be an attention caller, like a warning shot for the Protoss to go back. Oh, but look at this positioning with the Vikings, which are out of reach of the anti-air units, but still can fire against that Colossus. So nicely done there by Erebus, just abusing this kind of high groundish kind of situation. Come on, Erebus, just go there. Just go in there and cancel that Nexus. Oh, and there we go. Oh, really nice EMPs there, and the High Templar are totally depleted at this point. That Purification Nova trying to look for the ghosts, but just managed not to do it, and all of those High Templar are going to get sniped. Easy peasy. Here we go, we have a couple of settled run bias ass counters for ROMSLY, but he's actually going to get half of it intercepted in this base, and he's trying to turn back there, maybe trying to, I don't know, rescue them, but I don't think this is going to work out. And he does have to fight against a planetary fortress, which is definitely not ideal, but look at this engagement. It just goes so much in favor of the Terran at this point. It's now the Protoss, which is in hot pursuit now, and look at all of these Marauders here. Those Zealots are definitely going to come to the aid of this army. We do have reinforcements here. So Erebus's attack could lose a little bit of steam, but look at those Liberators, well positioned, target firing all the important units. And here we go, he lands all of the Vikings now, and Erebus, I think, is doing all the right things. Here come the Marines also trying to flank that army, maybe create a little bit of a Terran sandwich there. And GG, Erebus takes this game.